What is going on, guys? It is your boy Tiny Pixel Gangster back once again, bringing you some GTA Online. The music, I think it's very fitting for an intro because I've had like a shit week. Personally, a shit week. It's had its ups and downs, but it's been a shit week overall, mainly because of like work and shit. I'm sure people understand what that's like. I don't know if you realize as well, but I actually changed some of the things in that music. I flipped it around a little bit. But you probably didn't know that because you don't care about my music and my videos, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my music, but I did mess around with it a little bit. I'll put a link in the description to that as well. But yeah, this ain't no crazy rockstar edited video. It's just I was stressed out and I was playing some video games, and I thought I am gonna jump online. I'm just gonna play some video games and see what happens. And it turned out I ended up cruising around Los Santos for the night, just chilling, which was good because it's kind of what I needed. I got lost in it for like, I think like 2-3 hours, something like that. I gave 2-3 hours of my life in Los Santos, but I ain't gonna complain. It was fun, it was worth it. But this week I have been deep in thought this week about many things, and I mean, some of them, most of them positive, some of them are negative, but you know, you get those weeks where it's just shit, everything shit. Like, luckily I've got a fucking beautiful and brilliant woman at home that I can come home to. Because I think if it wasn't for her, I'd probably be tearing I'd be tearing my hair out right by now. And I don't know, like, I get home from work after a shit day at work, and it's not because of just work. It's just like you have to go to a place where you're confined in a space which you have to go to get on in the world, which is fine, I understand that, but sometimes you just feel like the walls are closing in at work and you're just stuck, and it's just been one of those kind of weeks for me. But that all kind of went out the window when I got home and I seen my missus, my fiance, and it's like she just makes everything alright, which is good. I'm lucky as shit that I got that. But yeah, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff, and I've come to the realization of I fucking love video games. I genuinely love video games. They're like my savior. Like, I can get lost for like a good, I'm not even gonna lie, I can get lost for fucking hours on end and not get bored. Like, sometimes I have to be told to go to bed. Like, my missus will come out of the bedroom and say to me, she'll just look at me and I'll go, yeah, I think it's time to go to bed, because I'll get that lost to do. But yeah, one of the positive things that I was thinking about, because I ain't going to talk about the negatives, because I don't think people should share that sort of shit on like social media platforms, because nobody likes that kind of person. But one of the positives was I'm super glad that I'm getting towards the latter end of what I would call my course. I'm on the last bits now, and I've been learning how to present an idea towards developers, and you know, like when you go to a conference to sell an idea and stuff like that. I've been learning about that, and it's kind of like a fresh take on what I've been learning, because the past like 7-8 months has been all about like making stuff, animations, you know, code sort of stuff, which is fine. Like, that's totally fine, and I'm enjoying that. But I think this bit that I'm doing now is like a welcome break, because it's been like really heavy shit, and this is like kind of easier. And like I've sat up many a nights and I've watched, you know, the press conferences live and stuff like that, so you know, I get an idea of what they're saying and I understand what they're saying straight off the bat. So that's been a welcome break. And since I've had that little welcome break in my gap, in my what I'd class as studying, I've had to sit down and think that I'm super glad that I'm doing it, and I hope to fucking Christ that I get the job out of it, or a good job out of it, because I think I have no aspiration to have a career as a doctor or any other crap. Well, it's not crap, it's actually quite important as a doctor. I think we're always going to need doctors as well, just for future reference. But I don't have any like drive to go and do many things. Like, I don't want to work in a warehouse for the rest of my life, or in a Sainsbury's for the rest of my life, or a McDonald's or anything like that. I was never ever career minded. Like I never sat down and thought this is what I want to do, mainly because I pissed away my my younger years doing stupid stuff. But this has come along now, and it's like I feel like if I can get something out of this and get what I want out of this, I'd be like super chuffed. I'd be the type of dude that like gets up early for work and is happy to go to work because it's video games. And the biggest misconception about this is it's not you're getting paid to play video games. It's not that simple where you just turn up and you're like, right, give me the controller or give me the keyboard and mouse and that's it. There's like a lot of work that goes into it, like behind the scenes. Like even this week, like I said, when I've been learning about this presentation and how to present things to like the public and or developers, like for example at E3 or at Gamescom or any conference where you're showing off a game, there's so much work that goes into the background in that. Like for instance, the QA team know the game inside and out, and they know if there's specific bugs in the game. Obviously if you do a certain thing, it will, you know, crash the game, which is obviously going to look bad towards the general population or people who are there to watch it. So there's certain things you have to do to make sure that doesn't happen. So it's like walking on a knife edge, stuff like that. There's so much stuff that goes on in the background that like most people or slash most gamers don't know about, and that's the bit that I enjoy the most because it's super involved. Like you're involved in doing it, and I've never really cared about a job like that before, but I feel like I'd actually I'd genuinely give a shit about this kind of job because the main thing is because it interests me. It really interests me. I started video games and playing video games when I was very young. My brother took me to the arcades when I was a kid, and that absolutely blew my mind as a kid. Like when there was like these, it was above a like what you class as a takeaway, a massive takeaway, and there was like steps that went up. You had to walk up like 2 flights of stairs, but it was one continuous like set of steps going up, and obviously there was like posters and all that other sort of stuff, and the closer you got to the door the louder it become, and then you walk through the door and it was like just an assault on the senses. There was just noises everywhere, all the demos for the arcade machines trying to grab your attention, the lights, you know, the sounds, the smell of like cheap food, you know, and stuff like that. And I remember playing Mortal Kombat and it absolutely blew me away, you know. And that was it. It's like when I play video games now, I still get that feeling depending on the type of game. If the game is good, I will play any game, absolutely any game, once. If I like it, I will play it again. If I don't, I'm not going to slate the game. I'll just put it down and say, you know, it's not for me because of said reason. There'll always be a reason as to why I don't like the game. And I think I've spent so much time playing video games, not just like playing video games, but understanding video games and understanding certain things in video games, to a point now where I'd be super chuffed if I could apply what I've learned without realizing it over the years about video games. If I could apply that to an actual job, I'd just be made up. I'd be like proper made up. And that's one of the positives that I was thinking about this week, through a shit week at work and all the rest of it. I come home, my missus cheers me up instantly without even trying, and then it's like bang, I've got like positive ideas and a positive mentality about it. But that's not to say I didn't have a shit week, because I did. But I just thought I'd share one of the positives with you anyway, which was video games. I fucking love them, and I've spent too much fucking time playing video games and all of the sort of shit going through the years, to the point now where I'm actively learning how to make video games in the studio, which is fucking cool. For me, it's just cool. The last bit I've got, like, I should be done hopefully by like January time, so I could potentially be working in the studio or anything like that by like January, February onwards, which is just a dream. So yeah, positive. That's one of the positives, and that's why I love video games. On a lighter note though, I'd say this whole thing is, I can sum it up real quick for you, which would be through the amount of shit that I've had this week. I have a lot to be grateful for. Obviously, first and foremost is my partner, and video games, and to not being too negative about stuff. I stopped during a negative week to look at something positive, and it's completely demolished the negatives, which is just perfect. So I just thought I would share that with you. If you feel like that's an excuse for me to vent, then I am just sharing my week with you. And if you don't like it, that's completely up to you. I'm not going to hate you. I really am at home when nobody's watching, and in my own head I will. I'll just hate you forever. But to the rest of the world, I won't hate you. I'll just play more video games. Speaking of video games, I've actually been playing some old stuff this week. Well, it's not retro old, but I was playing Dead Space, the original Dead Space game. Realised you really can't play that on PC with keyboard and mouse, so I went out and bought an Xbox One controller. So I actually might record a massive chunk of that and just put it up for fun. It's not no crazy like mad walkthrough. It's just literally me just playing video games and me being me. So yeah, I might do that. Also, I bought a Humble Bundle ages ago, which I completely forgot about, and in it I got Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Blacklist is the only Splinter Cell game that I've never played, so I might do the same thing with that as well. So that's something else for me to do. I know obviously I don't pump out videos every single day, like 6-7 times a day or whatever, and the reason for that is because I have actual stuff to do as well in my real life, like a job to go to, house to keep, and a woman to please, you know. So you're gonna have to forgive me if I can't pump out stuff all the time, but when I do pump stuff out, I do it when I've got the time to do it. But I think in the next couple of months, because I'm cramming like a lot of stuff in recently, obviously because I've got a wedding to plan now as well, but I think I should be able to start putting out like actual games, so I can just record a big massive chunk of playing a game and then cut it up into sections, if that makes sense, so be a bit more organised. So I mean that's good, so I'll be able to put out more stuff quicker and easier for me. But I'm not going to chew your ear about that right now. But yeah, I'm just gonna say thanks really. If you've made it this far, I'll say thank you for listening. If you if you're still alive after this, and if you are, then I thank you for listening to me vent. But I got to bounce, so I shall catch you guys soon. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful time, and I shall catch you guys again.